Good day everyone, I am Joanna Rosete from Group 7. Today we're going to discuss about the group computer-mediated communication. So the learning objectives of this topic is to distinguish group communication from the other types, identify social groups and categories and how they can be activated online to guide group processes in CMC, apply a typology of online groups to describe the characteristic of groups you encounter online, discuss how offline factors like physical configuration can influence online group processes, and to understand several forms of social support and how they can be facilitated online. Let's start. What's today's date? This may seem like a simple enough question with a single correct answer. You look at your calendar and state the date, but the date is somewhat subjective as depending on where you are in the world. It may be tomorrow or yesterday as you read this paragraph, at least relative to other students in different countries, and perhaps even your own. So in group-mediated communication, especially in diverse or global context, understanding and acknowledging different time zones is crucial for effective communication. Being mindful of time zone differences enhances communication effectiveness, reduces misunderstandings, and promotes inclusivity within group communication interactions. So here's some implications of group computer-mediated communication. First is scheduling. When arranging meetings, events, or deadlines, it's important to consider participants' time zones to ensure fairness and inclusivity. Using tools like world clocks or scheduling apps that automatically adjust for different time zones can help in this regard. Next is clarity. Clearly stating time references, specifying the time zone, or using terms like UTC or GMT, it helps to avoid confusion and ensures everyone understands the timing of events and deadlines. Third is flexibility. Flexibility recognizes that individuals may be in different time zones means being flexible with communication and accommodating varying schedules. This fosters a more inclusive and supportive environment. Next is awareness. Encouraging awareness of time zones differences among group members promotes empathy and understanding. It also helps individuals appreciate the challenges others may face due to time discrepancies. Next is technology. Leveraging technology such as video conferencing, instant messaging, or collaboration platforms can facilitate real-time communication across different time zones. However, it's important to choose tools that accommodate diverse time zone needs. So next is the social cues. What is social cues? Social cues signal one's social identity and can guide group rather than interpersonal processes. In group computer-mediated communication, or CMC, social cues play a significant role in shaping interactions and relationships. While some traditional cues like facial expression and tone of voice are absent or minimized in CMC, other cues emerge through written language, symbols, and behavior. So in social cues, while group CMC lacks some traditional social cues, individuals and groups adapt by utilizing textual, timing, linguistic, and nonverbal cues to convey meaning, establish relationships, and navigate social dynamics. Recognizing and interpreting these cues are essential for this effective communication and collaboration in online group setting. Next is interactivity. What is interactivity? Interactivity refers to the extent to which messages in a sequence relate to each other, and especially the extent to which later messages recount the related of earlier messages. That's according to Raphael and Sadwick, 1997. Raphael, Lee, and Sadwick are scholars known for their work in the field of computer-mediated communication, or the CMC, and Effects on Social Interaction in 1997. They co-authored a book titled Network and Netplay, virtual groups on the internet which explore the dynamics of online communication and the way in which individuals form relationships, communicate, and collaborate in virtual environment. Interactivity is a computer-mediated communication refers to the degree to which users can actively engage with each other and with the technology-mediated environment. It encompasses various elements that facilitate communication, collaboration, and participation online interaction. Overall, interactivity, a range of features and functionalities that promote active engagement, communication, and collaboration among users within digital environment. It plays a crucial role in shaping the dynamics of online interactions and facilitating meaning communication experiences. So that's the interactivity in group mediated communication. So next is the system factor. System factor communication technologies themselves can also influence whether online interactions are guided by group or interpersonal processes. System can influence communicative processes by the intent or design of the system itself, which can focus on either personalizing interaction or highlighting the role of groups and their members. Social network sites from the Tumblr have users create detailed personal profiles when logging on and then use this profile to interact with others. The system factor in Group CMC encompasses the technological infrastructure, features, and functionalities of the CMC system that shape groups, communication processes, collaboration, and dynamics. Overall experience, the understanding of this and managing these factors are essential for optimizing group communication and achieving desired outcomes in virtual collaboration settings.
So after the deeper discussion about the group computer-mediated communication or the online groups, let's forward to the types of online groups. Before we go to the types of online groups, let's define first the online groups or online groups. So what is online groups? Online group is a group of people with shared interests or purpose who use the internet to communicate with each other. So basically, online groups are also known in other term online community, which is people use to interact, to communicate, share knowledge, share ideas, or share their interests with each other. And also, there are several ways to categorize online group, and by digging up the types of online group. So before we go to the first online groups or types of online group, which is the common bond groups, here's the 4 types of online groups. Yun nga yung una, the common bond groups. Second is the common identity group, and the other 2 is atemporally bonded groups, which is the ad hoc groups and persistent groups. But what really binds us? Is it common bond groups or common identity groups? But before we answer that, let's tackle deeper about these 2 primarily types of online groups. So, common bond groups. Those whose members are attached to the group primarily because of the interpersonal connection or relationship among group members. So basically, common bond groups is talking about the personal attachment or interpersonal connection rather than the innate qualities or innate attraction. And also digital communication tools that can facilitate common bond groups, which is the Instagram keyword Moose. Moose is multi-user domain, object-oriented, which can provide individual wherein they could meet or interact. And also members are drawn to the group more because of their personal attraction to the group holistically. So this is also it's talking about talking about that talking about that you can you can stay associated or communicate by the use of email, chat system, group chats, and so on and so forth. Common identity groups are those whose members are attached to the group primarily because of the shared interest or social category of the group, formed or maintained by a shared interest in a topic, goals, or identification, and also bringing together individuals based on a shared interest rather than the based on personal association. An example here is the Facebook and Google, wherein it's provide for individual to associate based on a shared interest or affiliation without necessarily seeking to develop interpersonal connection. In common bond groups, it's talking about the personal attraction or personal attachment, while here in common identity groups, it's talking about sharing interest in topics, goal, so on and so forth, and also common identity group distinguish themselves by high group attraction, but their member differ the amount of perceived personal attraction. So let's categorize common bound group and common identity group. In common bound group, to be attached to a group on an individual level, wherein you can base it on the attachment between group member. And in this application or social application, you can able to see or you can see a common bound group, the Instagram, C-word, and most. And in common identity groups, to be attached to the group as a whole, wherein you can base it on the attachment of a group identity. And this is the application that you can see a identity or you can see a common identity group, the Facebook, Google, Discord, and video gaming. Ad hoc groups is a low barriers to access, make group very formable and easy to enter and leave. And also after given a task or event is completed, group quickly disassembles or loses member. And also group itself may even come together for a short time and then dissolve as a member leave or catalyzing event passes. Ad hoc groups is talking about short term, like if you are in an online group and then if the problem is already solved, that online group is quickly disassembled and loses its member. And ad hoc groups is resemblance of common bound groups, wherein you can emerge as a group and create a online groups. But if the problem is already solved, yun nga yung function ng ad hoc groups. If the problem is already solved, those member is quickly loses and ad hoc groups is maintained only when it's needed or temporary basis. And persistent group can facilitate long-term period, connecting individual with shared interests or social attraction, and this group may still be relatively easy to join or leave, but often as some groups are more specialized and they are less formable, and maintaining associate of individual based on mutual personal appreciation and ties. So if we're talking about persistent group, it's basically talking about the long term period. For example here is the online fandom group, wherein they are bringing together individual around a shared love of a particular culture, and also and also and also persistent groups is remain group member for a longer period, and this is a resemblance of common identity group, which is bringing together individual based on a common interest or a social categorization. So task group is created by a member, like student groups, groupings like that, and also task groups are similarly formed to accomplish a specific or often clearly defined task. And there are also there are two places of task group, the organization group and the video games. So organization for more specific purpose and then dissolve when the task is accomplished. And also when you take a part in a group for a class, you are engaging in a task. You are engaging in a task group that's done with the larger organization. So basically, if you're talking about organization, it's occur in educational, in non-profit services, or commercial, that focuses on accomplishing specific tasks or specific accomplishment, rather than engaging members socially or interpersonally, and also it also facilitate and represent a larger system of organization. Lastly, the video games have repeated or progressive tasks, required larger group of players to collaborate to complete or compete endgame event, often lead strong, formal, persistent, and associations among groups of players known as guide. Basically, can video game can often have a 10 or 14 members, and also guide is persistent or typically more persistent, rather than in a organization. And if you're talking about a social dynamic and interaction, much central or much central yung functioning of gaming task rather than the organization task.
So social support refers to communicate both verbal and nonverbal between recipients and providers that functions to enhance a perception of personal control in one's experience by reducing uncertainty about situation, the self, the other, or the relationship. Social support refers to behavior that, whether direct or indirect, communicate to an individual that he or she is valued and cared for others. And there's a 5 types of social support. So emotional support online is the most commonly true when a social emotionally rich message of caring emotional support can be communicated many ways online, refers to expression of interpersonal care. So emotional support online refers to action or words shared through digital platforms that provide comfort, care, love during the time of stress or hardship. It's a crucial aspect of online communities and relationship, helping and understanding. For example, active listening through video call. Listen to the person expressing their emotions, reflect back what they are shared to demonstrate understanding. Informational support online refers to a provision of facts or advice, refers to providing materials, assistance, often in the form of money or physical help, refers to the provision of facts or advice. So, informational support online refers to the provision of facts, advice, or guidance through digital means. It could be sharing articles, tutorials, webinars, or online courses that provide valuable information. There's a three type of communicating social support. First is online tools allow to communicate to expand geographic and physical distance, significant, significantly reducing the resources needed to seek or offer social support. Second is internet can facilitate communities or individual bound a common identity or support need. Third is a related benefit of online social support can actually be drawn from the approach as individuals take advantage of the clueless environment of the internet. So, STEAM support online is can be communicated in many similar ways to emotional support. Direct message can validate someone's identity or make them feel as though they belong to the group. Team support online is absolutely team support is a crucial aspect of social interaction, especially in online. So communities, it involves expressing respect, confidence, and belief in other person's ability. Instrumental support online is refers to providing materials assistance, often in the form of money, physical help. Other forms of support can be communicated verbally. Instrumental support, sometimes referred as tangible support, often requires the exchange of physical resources to do online. And now let's talk about instrumental support online. And when we talk about providing materials, assistance online often in the form of money or help, we're referring to a type of support known as instrumental support. This form of practical aid that can be delivered digitally. For example, help can also come in the form of digital resources, services such as online webinars and or software or online tutorials, tools that assist someone in accomplishing a task or achieving a goal.